Hello and welcome to Dragon Age Inquisition and an unscripted guide to primarily playing the game on the hardest difficulty setting, which is Nightmare, but also while I'm formulating my thoughts here, I'm going to be covering things that will be generally useful to anybody playing the game. So in particular reference to going through the game on its hardest difficulty setting, there are a couple of things to point out. The first is that the character class that I strongly recommend that you choose is the mage class, and the primary reason for that is the spirit skill tree. So if I bring up the skill trees available to the mage, this skill tree in particular, which is classed as spirit, is primarily concerned with protection and healing, and you really want to be in control of that yourself other than giving that to an AI companion, unless you are planning on doing an awful lot of micromanagement. So in particular the barrier, and you'll want to be unlocking or getting the bonuses for some of these skills, and dispel. These two are pretty much essential. Dispel is one of the most useful spells in the game. Again, I've unlocked the bonus there. What you need to do is be using Dispel an awful lot, especially on the warrior in your party. If you don't have a warrior in your party, why? You need the warrior is referred to as the tank, will be generating all the threat for all the enemies, and Dispel will dispel any harmful status effects, etc. on them. You also need to use, beg your pardon, of course, on yourself and other characters, especially when you're fighting things like dragons. They can have some very nasty effects, especially fire. Breathing dragons set people on fire, and you can dispel that effect with this. Of course, it's on a cooldown, so timing is everything. But in addition to that, it is the passive skills that are arguably as important, if not more important, than the active skills that you'll be deploying. So the passive skills run in the background, you don't have to worry about them. But if we look at just this skill tree, we have Peaceful Aura, Guardian Spirit, Rejuvenating Barrier, and Strength of Spirits, and they all give very good bonuses. So the Peaceful Aura reduces your threat, so that goes more to the tank. The Guardian Spirit gives you a barrier when your health is very low. Rejuvenating Barrier increases your mana regeneration, allowing you to cast spells more quickly, and the Strength of Spirits increases the duration of the barrier, makes it stronger against attacks. In terms of the other skill trees in the mage class, out of Storm, Inferno, and Winter, you really want to specialize in either Inferno or Winter first. I tend to go for Inferno, but either of those, and then complement that with, once you get more unlocks as you level up, complement that with Storm. I do use Chain Lightning as a skill, but other active skills, even though you need to unlock them to get to the passives, I don't particularly use. But it's these four passives here: Stormbringer, Gathering Storm, Static Charge, and Conductive Current, great additions to the skills, the passive skills that you will be unlocking in the relevant trees. One point here is that in the Inferno one, I do not take Chaotic Focus because it consumes the barrier in the spirit thing, and I don't want anything reducing that effect, especially after I've been unlocking other skills to try and increase it. Of the specializations that you'll be able to unlock for the Inquisitor later on, the Rift magic is possibly the most useful, and again because of the 4 passives on the skill tree. I wouldn't recommend having any of the characters use focus abilities. Avoid those, don't have them on their trees, because you want the focus for your main Inquisitor power. But that's just my choice. So that's a quick look at skills. Now, the main difference for playing on Nightmare difficulty, other than other difficulties, is that the emphasis is on crafting high-end armor and weapons, not just for yourself, but for your whole party. To this end, what you want to do is, at the very least, have played the main game on the normal difficulty setting all the way through, doing everything possible, searching every nook and cranny of every area, doing every quest that's available to you, with them in the forefront or in the back of your mind, always looking for schematics. You want to be collecting as many schematics as possible. Collect all of the schematics you can find. Once you then get to a point where you have defeated all of the dragons.
How did you know to approach us,
Just
Solas?
see Cassandra
The
talk.
breach opened. We were scrambling and barely had time to think. And there you were.
I went to see
Got
the
all
breach
my
for myself.
potions first.
I did not know you would be there.
You must not have been far away.
I was not. I'd come to hear of the conclave, but did not want to get close.
Lucky for us then.
Right, so again, yes, go for all of it, get all the schematics you can before you defeat Corpheus or Corypheus or however he's pronounced. And once you've done that, you'll want to play through Jaws of Hakon, the Descent, and Trespasser in that order. Again, the emphasis is getting everything you can. In the normal playthrough, you may want to get all the shards and unlock all of those things. Certainly make your experience more easily, because there's an area which has some unlocks and special accessories, weapons, armor, etc. by collecting shards. That will be apparent in the playthrough. But you won't be able to carry any of that through to another playthrough. So what you're going, once you've completed everything, you finished Trespasser, you can then do is start a new playthrough on Nightmare difficulty, having chosen a mage, if you follow my recommendation. Once you get to Haven, in the progression of the story, you want to save the game. You'll be saving the game anyway. And you'll need an internet connection. You'll need to also have PSN Plus. And what you'll do is you'll log into PSN Plus, log into the EA servers once you boot up Dragon Age Inquisition, load up the character which you have completed the whole game on, which will most likely be in the Winter Palace. And in the Winter Palace there's a crafting area. In that crafting area you will find a golden nug. You press X and it will synchronize all of the schematics you've collected and everything. And then you can come out of that, load up the new playthrough on Nightmare difficulty with the character in Haven, and in Haven, next to the stables and the crafting area there, you will see a golden nug. Press X there and it will synchronize all of the schematics to your new character. Now, you are immediately able to craft the high-end gear and weapons, but not to their highest level. That will now be dependent on where you are in the story, which areas you've unlocked in the world, and your level. So it is a continual process of constantly upgrading the highest possible armor and weapons for the whole party, not just yourself. So really, the approach, at least for the majority of the Nightmare playthrough, is to play exactly the same as you did at normal level. By doing this, what you're effectively doing is reducing the difficulty level from Nightmare to more of a hard difficulty setting, which will just make everything so much easier, especially in terms of dragons. I've killed 4 of the dragons already, but there are 2 very, very tough dragons. One on the Storm Coast, which you will unlock through some operations. You'll be able to access it. And here in Emprise de Lyon, there are 3, and the one in the amphitheatre. Again, all of this will become much clearer if you've played the game. That one is extremely tough, so those you're probably going to need to leave until right at the end. But once you're able to defeat all 10 dragons, you know that you're able to play all the way through to the end of the game without any significant problems to get the trophies. This is your objective. So that's that. What else? I shall carry on exploring. Maybe give you an example of combat and how I approach combat. I think that will be the next thing to do. So, complementing that, you will also want to be collecting resources wherever you can. That's just a general tip for any level of playthrough. I know it's relatively tedious, but it's essential. You can, of course, buy resources in the Black Emporium, which is a free download if you don't have the Game of the Year edition, and also included in the Game of the Year edition, which becomes available to you after you have unlocked the hinterlands, which is the first area in the game. The Black Emporium sells crafting resources, but note, again, just as I said with the crafting of the weapons and the armor, there should be a bridge there. I've unlocked the camp. Oh, I haven't unlocked the camp. Sorry. That's why I thought I'd unlocked the camp. I haven't. Let's unlock the camp. Here we go. We're going to set up their camp. I was getting a bit confused then. I was supposed to get across. Right, we can equip our potions. So talk about potions. You want to be upgrading those as much as possible. Again, resource scanning is going to be important for that. The Black Emporium will mirror the kind of grading of crafting weapons and armor, in that the rarer crafting items will not be available in the Black Emporium until you've gone through certain stages of the story and you've unlocked certain areas and you're a certain level. But they are there. You can purchase them to help. And you'll need to do that less often if you are just generally going around and collecting things as you should. Now, we've got a rift here, so what I'll do is to demonstrate how I generally approach combat with a mage. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a barrier up first, put a physical barrier up. So if you're a fire mage, it'll be a wall of fire. If you're concentrating on cold, with the winter skill tree, it'll be a wall of ice, either. And then, as saying is, making sure that is selected. Oh, I didn't get it in time, but dispel. You want to be dispelling here. That's very important. Constantly dispelling as soon as it's available. Because your other characters are going to be more important for DPS than yourself. You're going to be more of a support role. Yeah, it is a bit annoying. It won't allow you sometimes, but just keep doing that. Give them a fighting chance. Get rid of those status effects. Weaken demons as well. It tends to weaken them quite a lot. Got one over here, there. Got 2 of these now. I'm going to back off. Get my barrier up as soon as possible if I can. It will also spread. Hit that. Hit me with regeneration, which you'll see a little cloud go around, circle, because I've advanced it so much that it will heal people around me. I could use the Inquisition power, I might do it in a bit, but at the moment I don't think we need to. Because it's got quite a lot of, say not the Inquisition, the Fade skill, the focus ability that we have. So I don't really need to do that here. Because this spell is so powerful. It's such a useful skill. It will hopefully keep everybody alive long enough. Approach the barrier. Again, more dispelling. Yeah, that dispelling is just giving everybody else a breathing space that they need. I think we've killed one of the demons already. And there you go. You see that fight was made a lot easier by Dispel. It is such a potent device. You really need it, and that's why you really need to be in control of that. If it's left to the AI characters, unless you constantly keep on going back to them and controlling them yourself, which you could do. You could create a character and whenever you're going around just control one of the other party members. It's quite possible to play the game as Solus, for instance, through most of it, if that's what you particularly want, or Cassandra or anything else. But yes, having that control over barrier, dispel, etc. Just makes everything easier. So in other words, what you're really doing on the Nightmare difficulty is you're changing a role from being possibly more offensive, more of an attacking kind of player, to a support role, and allowing the AI
Got to be something here.
to take care of everything else. And because you'll be crafting everything, the emphasis is on crafting. Of course, everything that you collect, all the weapons, armor, and sigils. I don't use sigils because, as in The Witcher 3, they have advantages and disadvantages. So there's really no benefit unless you have a really specific playing style and you can compensate for it with the party. But I think that just overcomplicates everything. You can sell all of that and create a good income. Remember, there is a Tactician's Renewal necklace in both Haven and Skyhold that you can buy at the crafting area if you want to change your skills, reset them, or reset any of the other supporting characters' skills. The first one's only 1 gold, and then it's only like 345 gold for each, and you can have as many of those as you wish. So if you find that your skills aren't quite working, or you think that you've unlocked the wrong ones as you're leveling up, then you can reset that. And that is really it. I've probably covered all the most pertinent things that I can think of, and hopefully that advice, take it or leave it, it's up to you, will help you more specifically get through the Nightmare difficulty of the game. But thank you very much for watching and listening. Take care.